here we are on Atlantis Spaceship, and in the top of the map, the 12 o'clock position, we have our red Zerg player from Team SCV Live, still just one game away from taking this fight club for, well, the 10th time. It is HyuN. His opponent at the 8 o'clock position is our blue Terran player who's won the last game and trying to stage a massive comeback against TSL.HyuN. It's Liquid.Sea.
And it's kind of crazy that like the bounty thing started out like not really a huge deal at all. It was like, okay, I get an extra 100. The 500 is the prize though. I mean, I get 500 bucks and then I can, you know, have another chance to win 500 more. That's awesome. But now it's like the bounty is more than it's soon going to be like more than double, like the amount could even end up triple the amount of the actual prize that they're playing for. It's kind of insane that HyuN has won so many matches in a row against, I mean, against Codes semifinalists and GSTL all killers and IPL 4 champions, IPL 4 runner-ups. Like, it's actually crazy how good HyuN is. And respect to him for taking a game off of HyuN with still really not a ton of prep time with this game, compared to the likes of Alive and Squirtle and so on.
Okay, well, we'll see what he can do now. I'd love to see him come back and win a couple of games at least. You know, I mean. Yes, we realize that he's relatively new to the scene, but we did have our player who was scheduled this week back out on us, so the timetable is kind of accelerated a little bit. And trust me, our StarCraft 2 guru, Frank, who does schedule all these matches, did actually already post in the live report thread, explaining the thought process, letting people know that, you know, we certainly want a lot more people to be involved, but people back out on us. There are issues sometimes with getting schedules coordinated, and that we were waiting for a calendar year before we started re-inviting people to Fight Club, as we've had already a lot of GSL Codes winners and such participate in the event, but that he's not opposed to the idea of bringing someone in a ZVZ.
Yeah, and actually, so the fact is with the players that we've already had, there's just so many other Codes caliber, like round of 8 plus players that have not had a chance, and when HyuN's bounty is like 2K, we're gonna want those players are gonna want to come in, and then if they beat him, they're gonna stick around and keep playing. So we don't want to deny anyone the chance. Liquid.Sea did just basically volunteer himself to come try his best against HyuN, and already has taken a win. So he's got a chance to continue that here on Atlantis Spaceship. It looks like mech is pretty much the way to draw blood on HyuN. There's not a whole lot of other ways to do it.
Works pretty well, apparently, and he has decided to one Rax Castle's fast expand into double gas afterwards. HyuN, on the other hand, he's pretty much doing everything we've seen out of him in the past. He'll likely get his Zergling speed now, and then take a 6-minute hatchery afterwards. Looks like he is leaving one worker on gas now. Sometimes he'll actually drop that off, but that tells, well, he drops it off whenever he goes for the double evolution chamber style and into infestors and a little bit quicker tech. This time, though, leaving one on there means he will be a little bit more prepared either for defensive Banelings or that earlier Roachhorn that we're used to seeing at about 6.5 minutes.
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, as time goes on, HyuN is most likely going to watch that supply depot burn again. C has already cleared out his own neutral supply depot so that he can build a bunker there. Interesting, as that is going to help him defend against Lings if HyuN does go for that route. And yeah, not a whole lot going on right now. It looks like very typical builds for both players. Once the factory gets done, you'll likely see a flip onto the reactor, Starport will start, and then it's a matter of C's choice of going for Cloak Banshees or not.
All right, so we'll see if HyuN sticks to his tried and true strategy of just letting the supply depot burn.
No, he's going to kill it.
Aw, I'm sad. Okay. And 6-minute hatchery, of course, coming up, so HyuN's doing everything we expected out of him. And as I mentioned, usually when he keeps one on gas, yes, and indeed he's doing the same thing here. He is going to produce his Roachhorn. So finally, 6 games in, we're going to see that normal HyuN strategy that he made so popular over the past few weeks.
What did he do last game that was off kilter?
He pulled completely off gas and went double Evo chamber into infestors.
Right. Okay, so he just basically skipped the Roach step or delayed it a while. Yeah, and that actually really came back to bite him, too, after the Hellions got in and did their damage damage with the drones. He couldn't really mount much of a counterattack, sent all his lings up there and just could not get anything done. So having no extra meaty bodies to stop those Hellions turned out to be quite painful for him, so he is going to return to that Roach Warren this time. Cloak is researching for C. He actually canceled it in a previous game, so there is a chance that he could do that again. If he doesn't, we'll see how effective he is with that Cloaked Banshee harassment.
Overlords are staggered everywhere at the moment, and that does keep pretty good eyes on the common flying paths.
They're symmetrical too.
Yeah, oh, they are.
Split across the diagonal.
One there, one there, one there, one there.
Yep,
it's like they're giving some sort of creepy eyes here.
Yeah, they're making the bears
nose.
stare into our souls here with the fog of war. The koala bear is a little accented as well. His ears are kind of highlighted by those overlords. Interesting. Either way, first Hellions get in, but don't actually get a whole lot of damage. They're warded off by the first round of roaches from HyuN. Not going to be able to get much damage done there. Another command center is coming up for C, so he'll be able to take his third base pretty quickly, or at least churn out a bunch of SCVs and get some mules out. Once Cloak is done, though, we will see C's Cloaked Banshee control for the first time.
And this is the normal round of roaches that are normally produced by HyuN. He makes 7 or 8 of them, keeps them back. He can't defend with those as well. Oh, and this Banshee's immediately caught off by HyuN, who has his queens already in position. So good job to be able to ward those away for the time being.
Cloak has finished with Spore Crawlers already in position. He could get some free shots on this spawning pool. I think if he actually is at the far left, he would be able to, I mean, there's an Overlord there, but the lair's not done. If that Banshee was cloaked and just stayed on the far left of that pool, he might be actually in range of it. But no, actually, it looks like detection range is going to be long enough. If the Queen can catch him there, can probably catch him on the left side as well.
Snags 3 kills, though, and he'll do some damage to this hatchery, but of course it's not going to be able to shoot it down before the Cloak does run up. So
look how well those roaches ward away a bunch of Hellions. Again, that last game, when he did not have the roaches prepared, that's what came back to bite him, and the second Banshee is going to show up. Is he going to be able to power this whole thing down? And with the second Banshee, it looks like it definitely will. Cancels there, and the lair is done, so Overseers will be able to help out in just a moment.
Ooh, Banshee does snag that kill and is going to come back for an inject as well. So pretty good job there, but it looks like C, canceling the macro hatch and doing some damage on top of that has actually done a pretty good job. Can't bring up his supply depots in time, though, and Zerglings are running free inside of his main.
Yep, and they are targeting down the gas SCVs first, which is interesting. Now they're going to start working away at the mineral gathering ones. Kills all 3 of those gas collecting SCVs. More are popping out, but there's no units here to be able to stop this. There's no Marines or anything. He just dumped everything into Hellions.
There we go. And finally, the Hellions do retreat, but C wants those to be over here killing things, and they just can't at the moment.
So C is going to try and take the high yield Vespine base, but there is an Overlord there, pooping creep already, preventing him from doing that for at least another minute. And the Baneling Nest is coming up. It's going to be done now for HyuN, and he can start to move into his favorite unit composition. We got Ventral Sacs and Pneumatized Carapace, though, for HyuN. He's going to try some drop stuff.
Yeah, and that's pretty effective on this map. There's a lot of staging ground up here that's not accessible by the Xel'Naga towers. You just have to have great presence of mind, and that turret ring already produced. And I don't think he has an engineering bay, just the double armories for continued mech production.
Yeah, he basically just completely cut Bio out of the build, and that actually, as we just saw, made it a little bit painful for him when those Lings managed to sneak their way in. Hellions are fast, but if they're not already in the base, they're still going to have trouble catching.
That should actually be maybe a good tip-off to C, as he actually kills the Overlord, and it already has a Pneumatized Carapace finished up, pushing that Overlord a bit quicker. So if he's observant, he may be able to get a glimpse of what his opponent is doing.
That's possible. We've got a huge round of roaches being produced now for HyuN, and HyuN actually, the Hellions are quick, but they're a bit clunky. Siege Tanks and Thors would have a tough time returning home very quickly if he does get that surprise drop. Obviously, he's going to need to leave a bunch of stuff at home. If C goes for a counterattack, HyuN's going to need quite a lot of forces to be able to deal with the Banshees and Siege Tanks as they encroach on his creep area. But looks like the Overlords and Roaches are already on the way. And look at that, C is actually going to take that base, or is that a floating barracks? It's scouting barracks. He could actually bust HyuN a little bit early here.
Okay, well, C trying to get a good read on what his opponent's doing.
Oh, no.
And he has picked up on that 4th base, but almost loses the scouting Viking there to a Spore Crawler. So HyuN loading up, well, at least one or two of the Overlords. I'm sure the rest will get made up here in just a second. And he does have missile turrets, but not that overbearing missile turret ring you usually see out of mech players.
Yeah, he's also got a sensor tower, which will certainly help out. More turrets actually being constructed here. HyuN is going to fly right into the main army of Sea. The first two Overlords are empty, which is great. He drops the roaches directly on top of the tanks. There's actually a queen in the mix as well. He still hasn't even dropped all of his forces, but they do seem to be cleaning out those tanks very quickly. You can see the Overlord's pooping creep as well to give added mobility to his units. That's a great move there that sometimes players kind of overlook. And we can see the roaches just destroying that main force of Liquid.Sea.
Yeah, and unfortunately no planetary here, so he is going to have to lift, and essentially all of these SCVs are going to be forfeit. So he's trying to produce whatever he can, but the roaches are just too strong. There's GG, and HyuN has won his 10th week of IPL Fight Club.
All right, so HyuN's still on the Jennings streak. Hopefully he doesn't get defeated by a Zerg, which we are starting to look for now to play against HyuN. If you are a Korean pro gamer and you are incredibly good and you have a chance of beating HyuN, just get in touch with us. Tweet at IGNProLeague. And, you know, we'll take consideration. I don't believe we have someone lined up 100% yet for next week, but it could be a Zerg this time. We're kind of getting fed up with HyuN winning all the money. Just spread the love, spread the wealth a little bit.
That's right. All right. Well, that is going to be it for us tonight. Don't forget, guys, we have more IPTL that's coming up over the next few days. We actually are down to our final week, I believe, of the regular season. So everything's kind of coming to a close. Tomorrow is going to be Evil Geniuses versus MVP, which should be very, very fun, especially because MVP has to win in order to stay in contention. Right now, Slayers is already at 2-1 in the group. Evil Geniuses is at 2-0. So MVP at 1-1 needs to win in order to move on.
Yep, but at least we didn't get in that situation where Team Liquid has to cheer for EG, because that would have just been devastating. So unfortunately, Liquid is eliminated already, but fortunately, they don't have to cheer for EG. So that rivalry can continue in its full healthy state. Either way, very, very entertaining set of games today. We saw some interesting stuff out of HyuN that we don't normally see, and C himself actually taking a win off of HyuN is a great first step. Yep. In our IPL competitive stuff. So I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more Liquid.Sea, and I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more TSL.HyuN in the coming weeks as well. Okay, well, that is it for us tonight. It is, we're going to be back live tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific, like I said, for EG versus MVP, so I hope you guys will join us for that. Please do follow us on all of our social media devices. Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube is at IGNProLeague. If you're on the Twitch TV/IGNProLeague channel, please do click follow on the page. It really does help us out. And you can also follow us on Twitter if you so desire. I am at Kevin Naki. He is at AskJoshi. It's right underneath you right there. Sagat is pouncing on mine right there. Yep. Good job. He's trying to attack my Twitter handle. Yep. All right. So that's all I got. Watch some Shoot Mania this week too if you want on twitch.tv/IPL Shoot Mania. Kevin and I are going to be casting that all week long as well for our second EU qualifier for that $100,000 tournament at IPL 5 as well. For more IPL 5 information, go to IGN.com/IPL 5, and you can find out all the StarCraft 2, League of Legends, and Shoot Mania info there. Buy tickets, buy hotel reservations, and get that situated so you can join us in Vegas at the end of November. Okay, thanks very much, guys. We will catch you tomorrow. Have a good night.